Hello and welcome to the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation CISM Live series, where we connect with critical incident stress management subject matter experts live on YouTube. My name is Kelly and I'm the development coordinator and host for the CISM Live series. If you all enjoy the content being shared today, please consider giving this video a like and subscribe to ICISF's YouTube channel to be notified the next time we go live. My guest speaker today is Dr. Victor Welzant, who is our Director of Education and Training. Victor previously served as Director of Acute Trauma Services for the Sheppard Pratt Health System and as a consultant to the state of Maryland Department of Health and Mental Hygiene in the area of disaster behavioral health. Victor maintains a private consulting and clinical practice in Towson, Maryland, where he specializes in the treatment of trauma and stress-related conditions, organizational training, and program development. Victor is the clinical director for the Anne Arundel Fire Dept CISM team in Maryland, as well as a supervisor for the Sheppard Pratt Healthcare CISM team development. He is a consultant to the Howard County, Maryland Sheriff's Department's crisis negotiation and peer support teams and serves on the adjunct faculty of Towson University in psychology, nursing, and Homeland Security. Welcome, Dr. Welzant.
Thank you, Kelly. It's great to be with you.
So we're going to get right into the topic of today's discussion. For all of our viewers, do you already have knowledge in critical incident stress management or have done CISM in the field for years? If so, the ICISF has created new courses and resources over this last year, but we also offer a variety of refresher courses and programs that are offered remotely or virtually. These programs are designed to refresh individuals that have been trained in CISM, but it's been a few years since they've taken a course or utilized this knowledge out in the field. We offer both content and skills courses while keeping you up to date on CISM research and back pocket skills to aid individuals, organizations, and even agencies in crisis intervention and behavioral health services. So Victor, let's talk about some of these programs and courses. Can you tell our viewers about the asynchronous online courses, both assisting individuals in crisis and group crisis intervention?
Sure, thanks, Kelly. This was a big shift for us. We, especially as the pandemic really, it became clear that in-person training was not going to be the norm for a while. We had a lot of requests for training, and that's often the case when there's a large either disaster or large scale community event or national event. We get these requests for training, based on that, and people really need the skills and they want to know the information. And so we made a decision to kind of pivot and take a lot of our in-person training and make it available in other ways. The first and probably the most frequently asked for was the individual and group crisis intervention courses. So what we did was ask Dr. Everly and Dr. Mitchell to take that material, that content, and build it into a course that people could take whenever they wanted to at their leisure. And that's the idea of asynchronous, that people had the option of taking it when it was convenient to them. Mm-hmm. And they both agreed to do that, and we have those courses up and running now. What they look like, for those of you who've had CISM training, it would be the same content, basically the same content as sitting in a workshop or a training for the GRIN class or the group class or individual. And that content, has been updated certainly to reflect the pandemic, to reflect some of the challenges that people are having, even getting together to do group interventions too. So it's kind of a state-of-the-art presentation.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for kind of breaking it down for us. And from what I understand, we also offer the CISM Practical Review and Update cohort online course. What individuals do you think would benefit from this particular kind of refresher course?
Well, that course was designed originally for people who have had CISM training, mm-hmm. and who maybe also been out in the field practicing and doing the work, helping people. And we're looking for the most current information. And that would include both the information about the interventions themselves, how to do it, how to apply it in specific situations like disasters or large scale events, but also some updates on the science the science behind CISM, newer research that wasn't included in previous editions of the course. And that was combined into originally a one-day live program and then made into a cohort program, which means a group of people go through this update together online and interact with each other through discussion posts, chat rooms, that kind of a thing, and also interact with the instructor. And typically that's for this course, that's been Dr. Jeff Mitchell, who is responding to a lot of those posts, the back and forth, answering questions, in addition to the content that's there.
So with the cohort online courses, if I understand correctly, all of those courses are specifically designed to be instructor-led, where the instructor is interacting with the participants throughout the online courses, where the asynchronous is a little bit more hands-off. It's self-paced, and they can pretty much log in and do the online course at their leisure.
Yep, that's it. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, we also created, within this last year, we created CISM refresher courses. We currently have critical incident stress debriefing, crisis management briefing, and diffusings. What do these courses offer our viewers interested in taking those?
Well, this is something that we've been talking about for a long time. People who take the training maybe don't get a chance to practice the interventions. Let's say they work in a department where there's not a huge number of critical incidents, right? Which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the first time they get called to do it might be 6, 8, 10 months, a year later after they've taken the training. And what these courses were designed to do is give people practice time with an experienced instructor to kind of critique, to give feedback, to support them in becoming even more competent at actually doing the intervention. So those courses have very little new content. We do a quick review of whichever intervention we're going to focus on. And then basically it's about 3 hours of practice scenarios. We use Zoom breakout rooms to facilitate that. And you're getting real-time instructor feedback about those interventions. And we set it up so that most people in the class get a chance to be in that leadership role. I mean, these are role plays, but we want everybody to have a very active role in it. So we kind of organize that, and ahead of time, we circulate people and we switch up. Sometimes we'll have 2 instructors giving feedback. So we'll switch up between the different groups, which helps.
I mean, from what you've seen for these specific refreshers, has it all been relatively positive feedback with regard to those refresher courses?
So far it has. We've done each of the refreshers once and are looking to do it 2 or 3 more times to work out any of the bugs. But the initial response has been really positive. I think one of the other things that really matters right now is that teams are also having trouble getting together to train. In some teams, because of the pandemic, their agencies put limitations on even how many people could be in training. Some places suspended all non-essential training. And so teams, what we heard from teams was, we're just not getting the chance to do scenarios to practice enough to really keep our skills up. And I think in some ways the pandemic led to a need that we really didn't anticipate. And I think this course is really meeting that need to some degree.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that, because there's a lot of CISM peer support teams out there that are constantly looking for additional resources. So this is a great one. And for individuals that have had all of our CISM training and are really just looking to get refreshed on some of the specific topics. So we also have our ICISF live training program, which has been a labor of love over the last year as well. And it's been going on since pretty much the pandemic began. It's a great way for all of ICISF faculty to present CISM training using Zoom technology. Can you explain a little bit more about this program?
Sure. The live training really is the closest thing we have to going to a conference. And obviously we have not been holding our ICESF conferences. Many of our instructors really, at least, for quite a while, although hopefully this is opening up, a lot of our instructors weren't able to train in person. So what we decided to do was take what we would typically offer at a conference, a regional training, and put it live one course at a time, using Zoom. And at first we weren't sure because, as you can imagine, and for those of you, who are listening, I'm sure sitting in front of a computer for a full day of training can be really hard. So we weren't sure if people would do it. Well, once again, I think there was definitely a need, particularly for the GRIN class. We've had so many participants and it's filled so many times that we just keep adding repeat sections of it. And again, I think it speaks to what just the kind of suffering that people have been going through and the need for training to address that, with the pandemic. The great thing about the live programs is that we also get to offer what we think of as our electives. We have our core courses, all of which are offered live now, and also the elective courses. So ones that you might not be able to get at a conference. Maybe they were previously only offered, once a year because it's such a specialty course. Now we're offering those live and we can gauge what the need is. And so if a number of people sign up, we can add a second course, or very few people sign up, then we know to try something else next time. And it gives us a way, I think, to be more responsive to people's training needs, what content they're actually looking for. And the other thing that I really like about it, and this is just my personal view, is when I'm teaching these, it's like being in a classroom in the sense of the people who are in the course share with each other. They get close to each other. They form connections. We form email lists for anybody who wants to, almost every class, so people can stay in touch. And it has that feeling similar to, although not quite the same, as being in the classroom again, which just personally is something I love.
Well, we've also introduced networking opportunities at the end of each day for all of our live trainings. Is that correct? So that way, not only can they interact with the instructor, but also interact amongst themselves and kind of learn from other individuals out of state, out of country.
Right. That's, the international presence has been wonderful. As you can imagine, we always had a great international turnout for the World Congress.
Right.
But as you can imagine, coming, the money, the expense, the time to travel internationally to take, a training is prohibitive for some people. And this really makes it doable. And we've had people literally we've had people tell us they're up at 3 a.m. to take a course because in the time zone they are, that's when it starts. People are really taking advantage of this, and it's wonderful to hear what's going on in other places, particularly around responding to the pandemic and the kinds of support for emergency services that people are doing, particularly the groups we tend to serve, emergency services, healthcare workers, all the first responders and first receivers. We're hearing stories from all over the world now where before that probably wouldn't be the case so much at a regional conference. We'd be waiting to the next World Congress to get all those lessons learned. Now we're learning, I think, a lot more, a lot faster.
Well, we have more access to technology and remote meetings and remote trainings than we ever had before. So that's definitely a positive as well. We're getting to learn from all of our international friends as well as those within the US. So do we have any new courses that are coming up that you can share with any of our viewers to kind of, give them a sneak peek or?
Sure, we do. One I want to mention that I should have mentioned before, I mentioned the asynchronous training.
Oh, yes, our asynchronous online courses.
Right, our asynchronous online courses. And one of the things I didn't talk about is how do you get the skills when you take a course like that? Again, you're taking that individually. Well, we put together a skills component of those two courses, the individual and group. So after you finish the content, you can take full day training that would give you the exercises you would have in the classroom. So in a separate day, you're learning and role playing and practicing how to do individual intervention, how to do CMBs, how to do diffusings, how to do debriefings. And you're getting hands-on practice. And again, these are for people who are taking maybe their first CISM training, where the skills are crucial. So that's relatively new, and it kind of complements the asynchronous training.
Now, the skills portion is also a great refresher for those that have, and even the asynchronous online courses themselves are a great refresher for those that have taken those green courses or the assisting individuals in crisis and group crisis intervention courses in the past. So say they've taken those courses 10, 20 years ago. We have updated content, if I remember correctly, on all of those asynchronous online courses. Is that correct?
Absolutely, we do. And the field has changed. And anyone who's been out there for a while knows this. It goes without saying that there have been a lot of developments, a lot of advances. We've learned a lot of lessons. And there are things that we've changed and adapted because of that that are included in these new courses. So, yeah.
Outside the asynchronous online courses, what are some other new courses that may be coming to ICISF sometime soon?
Sure. Well, one that's really very recent is something called psychological body armor. Many people on this call, or who are listening to this broadcast, know the concept of resilience very well. And one of the things we've recognized for a long time is that building resilience in the front end of training is an important part of helping people, when there is a crisis, draw on those strengths, draw on that resilience. So Dr. George Everly put together a course called Psychological Body Armor that is both going to be an in-person class when we're able to teach in person again, but started off as an online course. And, we're very excited about that. We're also in the process of creating something called Resilient Leadership, which again is a course about looking at what leaders and organizations can do, both to build organizational resilience, but more importantly, to build resilience and to support the resilience of the people that they lead. So this would be a course that, geared toward anyone in a leadership role, whether that's formal or informal leaders. And how do we incorporate what we know about resilience into our leadership styles? So in a sense, how can we become more resilient leaders? And that's a very exciting addition to the courses that we offer.
Well, those both sound like amazing courses. And for anyone that is interested, I guess, in learning more about either of those courses, or when we start to add those courses to the website, you can also visit our website at ICI, S as in Sam, F as in Frank.org for more information. What other resources are available for individuals to learn more about CISM? Because we have added a lot of resources to our website over this last year.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the things that part of our response to the pandemic, where there was less we could actually do in person, but much more that we could do to create resources for people to have. One of the major resources is our bookstore. We have a new ICISF CISM bookstore that includes some new offerings, books, things that didn't exist before. And the major thing that we started with are our field guides. These are practical, basically manuals that people can keep with them, just like a field guide for any discipline. You pull it out when you need to look something up quickly, and they're organized around the different interventions. And also an important one's organized around strategic planning. So if you have an incident and let's say you really need to figure out, how do I do this response? This will be, the field guide's a great reminder. It's a great template that you can use. So the field guides are there. We also have a few of the books written by people, who are prominent in the field, who have done a lot of work in the field. And we're adding to that bookstore every month. There's just, lots of new things that are going to be coming out, lots of new things within the last couple of months that have been published, have been put up there.
And did I hear you right that all of the stuff within our CISM books bookstore is additional supplementation? So it's not textbook manuals for specifically our ICISF courses, but it's supplemental information about CISM?
Right. And we also have the course manuals available for people as well. These are all things that are, like you said, it's separate, it's supplemental, it adds to, and when you go out in the field, and you're looking for something, that you want to be able to access quickly and have just some quick bullet point kind of guidance, that's what these are for. We also have the ICISF app, which is something new for us. I think we were a little behind the curve in getting an app developed, and now that it's out there, it's been, people have been very happy. You can access a variety of things, through the app, and I would encourage people to check out our version of the App Store. There are topic areas like psychological body armor, like strategic planning, things specific to the pandemic, but also versions of what we used to call our quick cards, which are basically our version of cheat sheets for the different steps of each intervention. And what's great about that is, it's an app, you can have it on your phone, and if you're getting ready to go out and do something and you need a quick reminder, that's a very easy way to just refresh your memory. So we're very happy.
One of the things that I like about the app is that, it is an app that you can save to your mobile device, but then all of the resources, once you download them and purchase them through the app, they actually stay resident on your mobile device. So that way you can reference it in the future, which I think is just, we've come such a long way from not having a resource like that. To actually, have these resources like the digital quick reference cards that are now resident, and they have access to it even offline. So it downloads straight to their mobile device, and if they're out in the middle of nowhere, they have access to CISM knowledge right at their fingertips.
Yeah, it's really helpful. A couple other resources. We have the Crisis, Stress, and Human Resilience Journal now, the ICISF Journal. That is, again, check that out. It is written, it's a practitioner's journal, so it's written by people who are in the field, who are doing work, but also doing, studying that work, maybe doing formal research or writing up case studies. This is free, it's open access. And
are they peer reviewed?
It is peer reviewed.
Okay.
We are hoping to, expand on the number of articles that we publish every quarter. So for anyone listening, any of you who have ideas for articles, please consider, putting that on paper and submitting it. What we're trying to do is use this as a way to get the most current information about what's being done for crisis support, for building resilience, get that out in the field. It's exclusively online. There's no kind of paper copy that you used to get in the mail. So, very accessible. And again, this is a free journal, open access that we're really hoping to expand even further.
That's amazing.
And then,
what are some other resources that we have? Because I know we have so many.
I think the best thing I could say is if you check out the website, we have added so much. Let me just give a few examples. We have a number of handouts that were created by members who sent them into us during the pandemic, things that they thought other people might use. And we became kind of like a clearinghouse for CISM related handouts, things you can use in interventions. There are training guides on there that people have donated and said, here, please post this. So if you check our resources section, you'll see just many kind of examples of things that you can, use in your own work. We also have a number of video productions, live interviews, things like we're doing here. We have podcasts, and we also have some of the previous World Congress presentations online. Particularly, we went through and looked at ones that we thought might be really relevant to the pandemic and posted them online. Again, these are free. These are available for anyone who wants to get on and take a look. We thought that they had some really important lessons to teach us that our teams could use as they're planning their response to what we've been through in the last year. So again, great videos, great content there. There are some training programs that are specific to the pandemic, some PowerPoint presentations that various ICISF faculty have been, giving remotely. And so those are available as well. So I would say, check that out. We also have our regular e-newsletters that go out. We have the LifeNet for our members. Lots of ways to stay connected. Lots of ways to get information, even if we're not able to kind of come together in person. And also, if you want to find out what's the most current things that are happening at ICISF, the website's the place to go.
We're always updating our website, and we send out bi-monthly or bi-weekly email blasts. If you check out our social media pages and even like all of those, we're posting specifically CISM article content just on our social media pages. We're trying to get as much CISM information out there as possible and available to all of our individuals and even new individuals that are looking for CISM content. So yeah, those are all wonderful resources, and I appreciate you taking the time to kind of break all of that stuff down for us and explain the differences between them all. So just to kind of give all of our viewers a synopsis of kind of what we covered today. If you guys are looking for a CISM refresher, our ICISF asynchronous online courses are self-paced and fully asynchronous, meaning that there's no instructor. These courses allow you to acquire new skills according to your own schedule. You can learn more by clicking the link in the description of our live series for today, or you can visit our website at icisf.org/self-paced-online. If you're looking to work on competence with a specific intervention, you can actually sign up for one of our CISM refresher courses. It takes you through scenario-based training exercises. Each are 3-hour sessions, which provide specific and direct feedback, troubleshooting, and even include challenges of these interventions in light of the pandemic or COVID-19. You can learn more by visiting icisf.org/CISM-refresher or click the link in the description. And you can join ICISF faculty as they present live training as well. So each course includes content of traditional in-person classroom learning via Zoom technology. We have our link in the description, or you could visit icisf.org/remote-learning. We have a variety of resources, as Dr. Welzant beautifully covered each specific one. We have links for all of those within the link in our description down below. So if you guys are interested in learning more or just want to go visit the different resources that we do offer and download some of those wonderful resources, feel free to check out the links in the description. For one, I'd like to thank Dr. Welzant for joining us today for our CISM Live series, where we connect with critical incident stress management subject matter experts live on YouTube. You can join us next week on Wednesday, April 28th at noon, where we speak with Dennis Potter about crisis management briefing in the special World Congress 16 presentation preview. And remember, if you've enjoyed this content today, please feel free to give this video a like and be sure to subscribe to ICISF's YouTube channel so you don't miss out the next time we go live. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, thanks everyone.